SavedBlog.com.
We are at the theater. Dolly. Jack Diamonds presents the podcast, Eyes Wide Open, Episode 9. Jack, welcome back to the studio for a new episode of the Eyes Open podcast, with our guest Dr. Papaya. Dr. Papaya, thank you for being here with us tonight. Papaya, thank you, Jack. Jack, we discussed the first fact, that Jesus died on the cross, and we listed several sources very close to this event that confirm it. What is the second fact? Drive. Papaya. The second fact is that the disciples believed Jesus had risen from the dead. Jack, what evidence do we have? Can we use the Gospels to show this? Papaya, we can show that the disciples claimed Jesus had risen from the dead and were willing to die for their testimony by using some of Paul's epistles. Jack, so we're not using the Gospels to avoid getting into the discussion about the scriptures that we mentioned earlier. Papaya, exactly. Even if the Gospels are questioned, we have Paul's epistles, which are considered authentic by the majority of scholars. Jack, I see. So even if the Bible were full of errors and contradictions, as skeptics claim, Paul's epistles are considered genuine by most scholars. This means they believe these letters are indeed from Paul. Papaya, yes, some of Paul's epistles are considered authentic even by skeptics. They are Galatians, Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Philemon, Philippians, 1 Thessalonians. In them, Paul states that the disciples claimed Jesus had risen, 1 Corinthians 15, 9-11, Galatians 2, 1-10. Jack, so, Paul knew the disciples and heard from them personally that Jesus had risen. Papaya, exactly, and we have other evidence, but I think it would be better to discuss that in the next episode. Jack, thank you, Papaya, and now, Dolly.
SavedBlog.com.
We are at the theater. Dolly. For the series, The Disastrous Misadventures of the Broken Luggage Gang. Episode 9, Counting Trolleys. We are at the airport. It's Papaya's turn to check in. Assistant. Passports and tickets, please. Papaya hands the documents to the assistant. Assistant. How many bags do you have? Papaya. We haven't counted them yet. They count the bags. Papaya. There should be 20. Assistant. I'm sorry, but I can't check in 20 bags for 4 people. Papaya. We can pay the excess. Assistant. Let me see your ticket. Let's see what I can do. Papaya. Here you go. The assistant starts typing on the computer. While they wait, the discussion about the book continues. Banani. Hey Ravioli, are you still reading that book? What's the second fact? Ravioli. I was just reading it. The second fact is that Jesus' disciples were convinced that he had risen from the dead. Banani. Couldn't they have been a bit out of their minds from his death? After all, they had spent a lot of time together. Ravioli. Maybe, but what matters is that they believed it was true. They preached it publicly and were willing to die for it. Banani. And how do the experts deduce this? Ravioli. It says here that Paul himself was a witness. Banani. But Paul's letters are part of the New Testament, which is full of errors. Ravioli. Yet, almost all scholars agree that many of Paul's letters are authentic. It seems Paul personally knew Jesus' disciples. Banani. If that's true, we would have an eyewitness account regarding the disciples' claims about Jesus. Ravioli. That's what the scholars think. Igor. One day, I'll write a book as an eyewitness. Indeed, in the history of aviation, there's never been a trip as bungled as this one.
SavedBlog.com.